My name is Jason Hammer, and the Colts play today. Stop laughing. We'll talk about it next.
Hey, I'm Scott Long, and guess what? We are going to talk about the Colts, but we didn't even show up on Sunday to do it. We're recording this one on early. Let's just put it that way. We know what's going to happen, so let's just get to it, and then we'll get to the games you care about.
Let's go.
This is All Indiana Bets, presented for the people by Caesars Sportsbook. We are all Caesars.
Happy New Year's Day, everybody. Listen, we're not going to lie to you. We don't lie to you on this show.
No.
We recorded this.
Yeah.
You're hearing us right now. It's Saturday, but it's Sunday in the NFL, so let's get into it. First question, the million-dollar question I have to you, Scott Long.
Yes.
Does having a Colts game move the needle for you at all today?
Guys, this is your weekend to go apple picking. You know, you're like, you tell me the Colts are on, I don't go. Who cares? But we got to find something to make you watch, and that's called All Indiana Bets.
The wonderful world of legal sports betting has made this game exciting.
Look at that, -5.5. That all of a sudden makes the game seem like it might be fair, like the Colts are getting 13 players on the field. So let's give it a try.
So the Colts on the road taking on the Giants. The line is 5.5. The over-under is sitting at 39. 39, just a gross number, kind of a gross game, right? The Giants aren't some sexy team like the Chiefs or the Bengals that you want to see their quarterback, airing it out, or maybe there's some sort of dynamic player you want to watch. As much as I love Saquon Barkley, nobody is tuning in just to watch him, but once you've got numbers involved here, 5.5 and 39, now we got ourselves a ball game here.
So here is the ball game. Here is Scott's pick. I am contractually obligated to make this pick. We should put that below. Contractually obligated to make a pick on the Colts. It's called All Indiana Bets. I don't love the Colts in this spot. I wouldn't pick this as one of my 10 best games, but I will share with you, the Giants are one of the luckiest 3 or 4 teams this year in the NFL. They haven't been winning games big. 5.5 would have been one of their 2 or 3 biggest wins of the year. So what I'm trying to share with you is I like how the Colts defense hasn't quit. I can't tell if the Colts offense has quit or they're just that bad. That's how confusing things are. But 5.5, I'm going to take the Colts, hold my nose, maybe watch the fourth quarter after I come up with these delicious apples.
Oh, when you think of apple bottom jeans and all things apples, this is the guy with the boots with the fur. Listen,
shut up! That was mean.
I just can't see how you can pick the Colts after last week. And I know gamblers will tell you that you can't judge week over week. But we've seen this same song and dance for multiple weeks. At what point does it become a trend? And that trend is this Colts offense is not any good. The Colts defense could, in theory, hold the Giants to 24 points. But I still think the Giants cover here. I've got very little faith in Nick Foles and this Colts offense to pick themselves up off the ground and to keep this within a touchdown. The Giants are playing meaningful games. And let's be honest, the last time we saw the Giants, their offense didn't look too bad. They can put some points up. They looked really good against Minnesota a couple weeks ago. This Giants team can score. I just don't know how much help you're going to get from the Colts. And more than anything else, my favorite bet on this game is a prop bet. Nick Foles. The line is 0.5 on his interception total. 0.5, over or under. What are we doing? We're going to scoot this bad boy up. My man should have been called Pick Foles last week because he should have thrown 4. He did throw 3, but the 4th one was dropped right in the breadbasket here. This seems almost insulting, and the odds are not bad. So hammer this. If you can find this, do it right now. Over 0.5 interceptions for Nick Foles in this ball game today.
Okay, Hammer, there's all these Colts shows, and I feel badly for them because they got their fancy hairdos. They want to go talk to the players afterwards. They want to have a relationship with the owner. You know, you and I don't care about any of those people.
No, we do not want to be friends with any of those people or the people covering those people.
We want to be friends with you. So this is the one show. I'm sorry, we'd like to be positive. This time last year, remember, the Colts looked like they were locked for the playoffs. They just had to beat the Raiders or the... Okay, let's not bring that up. That's not going to help the new year. Maybe new year will be great next season.
Just maybe, you're one of those people that does carry the water for this organization.
Yes.
And you've said, you know what, I don't want to watch these guys anymore. They're telling too much truth. I'm done with this program. You can scan that QR code right above Scott's head, right there by the horseshoe. You can get all of our picks. But if you want to hear the truth, if you want to win some money, then stick around and hang out with your TV pals here. We're going to get the bar going.
Yeah!
We're going to have a good time.
Yeah!
We've got prop bets and games you actually care about.
Let's do it!
Coming up next, right here on All Indiana Bets.
All Indiana Bets is presented for the people by Caesars Sportsbook, the only sports betting app you need.
You know what I think stinks? The tradition of cabbage on New Year's Day. Have you ever heard about that? You're supposed to eat cabbage on New Year's Day for good luck. Cabbage stinks, and so does this Colts game, but we have to find ways to make it entertaining, so let's do a round of feeling it or fading it.
I want to still get back to the cabbage. This is what our show's about. Bringing home the cabbage.
It is.
But food in general better taste amazing if it's going to stink up your house.
Right.
And that cabbage is the worst. So I'm down with that one. I am feeling your first one, Hammer. Was that our official one?
So I'm going to make the transition from stinking up the whole house to Nick Foles, because that's what he did last week. And the over-under for passing yards is 209.5 for Mr. Foles. Are you feeling or are you fading that, Scott Long?
I'm big at looking at somebody's eyes and telling, is this guy good or is he not? Does he feel confident? I have never seen a guy look more dead inside than Nick Foles last. He felt like and look, there have been days where I'm going to some horrible gig that I got to do and I feel dead inside on the whole drive. But this dude, he just looked like he's like, hey, I was always cool with being third string. That was fine with me.
He's got a ring. He beat Tom Brady. He's got a ring.
He was totally alive for just 7 weeks. And he is dead. No, there is no way he's going to throw for 209. The Giants are not a great defense, but they have a coach that figures out how to play complementary football. He's going to take that away, try to keep the Colts from running, but oh no, they'll be lucky to 150.
Yeah, I'm with you. I'm fading this number. There's no possible way Nick Foles could be as bad this week as he was last week.
No, that's true.
Because there's no possible way anybody could be as bad as Nick Foles was last week.
Oh, that was miserable.
Here's another one. Colts running back Zach Moss to score a touchdown, an anytime touchdown.
Right.
Not the first, not the last, anytime, plus 160. You feeling or fading?
I felt like he was alive. Now, there was a guy that really was trying to impress somebody. He's like, I'm behind Jonathan Taylor. I want to be a starting running back in the NFL. I've got no tackles to run behind on the left side. I got a center who can't block, but I'm going to still push my efforts forward. I like him. They're going to have to do something offensively just to get some yards, so I feel that one.
I'm with you. Plus money. Yeah. We always love plus money around here. And somebody's going to have to score a touchdown eventually. And I don't think it's coming from the passing game. So I'm with you on this one. Last one here, Giants running back Saquon Barkley to rush for over 77.5 yards, feeling or fading?
I think Barkley's a little worn down at the end of the year. He's had a lot of carries, which was smart. This is why I think the Colts actually can cover this game. I think they're going to make Daniel Jones beat them. I could see the Giants scoring 17 or 20 points and still winning, probably still covering the spread. So no, I don't think that you're going to see Barkley have a big game. I think Gus Bradley will try to shut down the run game and see if Daniel Jones can beat him on the outside, and they do not have good receivers.
I'm going the other direction here. Okay. I like Barkley to get over this number. The only thing that would scare me off a little bit is how active he is in the passing game.
Yeah.
But I do like this number on the ground. Saquon Barkley, kind of like Jonathan Taylor a year ago, is having one of those years where every time he touches the ball, he can take it to the house. You're one big run away from getting half of this in one carry, and he's going to get carries. He's going to get a lot of the football. By sheer numbers, I think we hit the over, so I'm feeling it. All right, that's enough on the Colts and the Giants.
Yes!
Let's move on to some other games. Scott, give us a pick.
Time to put them on.
Here we go. Winning time.
It is winning time. So we look at the Vikings here against the Packers, and you're looking at a game where 3.5? The Vikings. This is a team that, I don't even remember. I think they're 11-4 or something. I mean, what I'm trying to explain is that the Vikings have been the luckiest team in the NFL. Vegas looks at a team that's 2 or 3 games behind them in the standings and still does a hook. And most of the smart money is still on the Packers. But I think the Vikings are going to play a tough, tight game. The Packers have been very lucky the last couple of weeks. They had no reason winning that Dolphins game except that Tua got hurt, wasn't accurate, blew the rest of the second half. I just like the Vikings to keep it within 3.5. And here's a big difference this weekend. Generally, this is a weather weekend. Have you noticed? It feels very warm around here. It's warm everywhere. It's going to be 38 degrees at 4 o'clock in Green Bay. January 1st, I'll take the Outdoor Dome team getting that hook.
For me, the best game of the weekend brings us to Monday Night Football. As bad as we think this Giants and Colts game is going to be, the total opposite of that is Cincinnati and Buffalo. You're going to watch this game and wonder, how are these guys playing the same sport? And Cincinnati, listen, I was wrong about him a year ago. I hear a lot from the representative of Iowa. I may or may not have called him a fraud a year ago.
Fraud!
And they made it to the big game. But right now, Joe Burrow is playing the best football of anybody in the league. And they're at home, and they're getting a point here. And here's what you need to know about Cincinnati. In their last 23 games, you know what Cincinnati is against the spread? 20-3.
Yeah.
That isn't just luck. That's getting it done against the number. So I like Cincinnati getting the point here. But here's what I suggest more than anything else. Live bet this game. Whether you're on Buffalo or whether you're on Cincinnati, as somebody scores first, that number is going to change. You're probably going to get better odds if you wait it out and live bet this. Either side make more money by live betting this, but right now I'm telling you, I like Cincinnati at home.
I love that advice. I really feel like in a game where you feel like you know the final score, but you're like, ooh, that's going to be really close to the line, take the other side if they're both quality teams. Both teams are going to get the ball. I love that advice.
Somebody's going to score first here, and it's going to be bigger than this number.
Yes.
When we come back, we've got what the people want. We got the man represented by the people. We've got the people's pick. It's the long shot with Scott Long. That's coming up next here on All Indiana Bets.
Can I put my hands down?
The Long Shot, presented for the people by Caesars Sportsbook.
Now, before we get to the long shot here, you may have noticed we moved to the bar.
Yeah.
We have amazing sponsors on this show. Lunazol Tequila hooking us up here. Now, Scott, are you a man that believes a little hair of the dog is the best way to get over, let's say, a New Year hangover?
You interview 35-year-old Scott, I would have went with that. The point of my life now, I am at a point where I tell my kids, Dad did some bad things last night. I'm in timeout. You stay in the basement. I'm going to be in my bedroom.
Dad's got a headache.
Yes, the shades will be drawn. I will deserve this. And that's my direction now. I don't even want to smell it at this point.
Because we've got the best of the best out today.
I love
the
it.
Lunazol El Humoso. And if you don't roll your tongue, you're not doing it right. This is so good that I highly recommend it if you're a tequila guy.
Yes.
All right, Scott long shot. Let's get rich.
Put them on. Let's make it happen right here.
Boom, there it is.
Okay, so I'm hitting these divisional matchups where games matter. There's too many games where you're like, who's going to show up, who's not. Both of these teams have to show up. So you know that right from the start. Then you have to determine who's playing the best football. I don't think either one of these teams is playing particularly good football. So then, all early, my history of gambling, I always bet the Dolphins when they're playing in Miami against the Patriots, and I always play the Patriots when they're at home against the Dolphins, because December, January, it's gonna be 58 degrees in Boston and humid. It's a Miami day. I love them in the spot, and then there's my buddy, Teddy Bridgewater, who I don't find is much worse than Tua. I'm not on the Tua train, but I am on the Teddy Bridgewater, 24-8, the best record any individual player has ever had as a dog in the NFL history. I threw out a lot of things. They're all factually true. I love the Dolphins, even though I hate the coach of the Dolphins, and I think the Patriots coach is a genius. But the rest of those boobs around him, they're not good. So they have not played smart. I like the Dolphins in this spot, but maybe there's somebody that has a different point of view. I can't imagine why they would.
Maybe this is just the tequila talking here, but I like the other side here. So here's what we know about divisional matchups.
Yes.
Any bettor will tell you that look at the under. The under in divisional matchups, especially this time of year, late in the year, January, it's always a smart look. So I think this is going to be kind of a low scoring game. I do want to look at the under, but if I think it's a low scoring game, I want the home team. This isn't enough points to make me waver one way or the other. It's -2.5. Home field in the NFL, it's worth a field goal at least. And I think Belichick is good enough to limit what Miami wants to do offensively. Kind of an ugly game earlier in the year. Might be fun to watch. This is going to be kind of a slugfest. I don't like it. Teddy Bridgewater does scare me, but home field advantage with Belichick. The Dolphins are reeling. Give me the Foxborough Magic here. I'll lay 2.5 with the Patriots.
We should do a bet on this one.
Okay, I'm down for whatever. Normally what we do is a shot of the winner's choosing. You down for that again?
Let us do that. And on top of it, we're going to have the mixer of the choosing.
Okay, so the winner brings in their personal favorite mixer.
Right.
And they take a shot of something.
Yes.
That's gonna be bet next week. Shake on it.
So we'll both be drinking Diet Mountain Dew, because that's our favorite. We love it with tequila. It is the what?
The nectar of the gods.
Yes.
Diet Mountain Dew, Lunazol tequila, nectar of the gods.
Hermoso.
We got more bets to make, all Indiana bets. We're coming back.
The Lunazol Lock is brought to you by Lunazol Tequila.
And that's what we're enjoying today. Happy New Year 2023. This is the year that you win so much money on sports betting, you buy that new car that you've been wanting. And if TV commercials have taught me anything, Scott, you do it as a surprise and you don't tell your wife, and it's there in the driveway on Christmas morning. Boom.
Honey, don't ever expect that. But allow me to continue to gamble, and maybe we'll get there. It's been a good last 2 months, and here is the shock of the year. Think about the start of the season. Everybody was piling on a guy named Carson Wentz.
Ooh.
He was the ultimate heel.
Local sports writers wanted to drive him to the airport.
Right, and the owner was helping him. So now we go. He hasn't played a lot this year. He didn't play great, but he didn't play bad. He had 11 touchdowns, 6 interceptions before he got hurt. Oh, it was all Carson Wentz's fault that Colts didn't make the playoffs. He had 27 touchdowns last year and 7 interceptions, but for some reason, people decided he can't be the quarterback because he didn't get a vaccine, which he should have gotten, in my opinion, just for the team. But the Packers didn't get rid of Aaron Rodgers. The Ravens didn't get rid of Lamar Jackson. The Vikings, I'm sure, are going, thank God we didn't get rid of Kirk Cousins, because they didn't get it either. All of a sudden, he's somehow the bad guy. He's wild. 7 interceptions. Think about it. The Colts have 11 touchdowns, 15 interceptions. Matt Ryan fumbled the ball 15 times this year. This is not just about the Commanders. This is about the Colts. Understand who you can have. I love the Redskins in this spot.
I've never heard of that team.
Oh, yeah. Well, you know, I did so well for so long.
We know who we're talking about.
It's called the Commanders. I've spent my whole life not being commando, but being the other direction. I'm just telling you right now, the Browns stink. The Redskins, no, not anymore.
Commanders
have to win this game. I love them. 2 points? Give me a break. Wentz is going to march him down the field and onto the playoffs.
Can you imagine Jim Irsay's face when he has to sit back and watch Carson Wentz start a playoff game?
For Daniel Snyder?
Wow. Now that's a Manning cast I would watch. Like if there were a dedicated camera on Jim Irsay having to watch that. My lock of the day is the Buccaneers.
Yes!
Now listen.
What?
You can never overreact 1 week to the next.
Or a month.
That's what the bettors will tell you. Professional gamblers. 1 week to the next is a lifetime in the NFL. If this point spread were 3 weeks ago, it would have been probably 6, maybe 6.5 in favor of Tampa Bay. Now that it's down to 3, look at the quarterback matchup. And I know Brady is kind of washed, but he's still better than Sam Darnold. Now, the Carolina Panthers can run the ball. That does concern me a little bit. But so can Leonard Fournette. And the Buccaneers have better success when they feed Leonard Fournette the football. That's going to take me into a prop lock or drop we got coming up later on. But in terms of the game itself, a couple weeks ago, this would have been around 6 points. It's down to a field goal. That's not enough. Give me Tampa Bay in this one. I don't love what the Buccaneers are doing, but they're a field goal better than the Carolina Panthers right now.
Hey, Hammer, did you watch the Cowboys play the Titans?
I did. A lot of people sitting out.
You are a total degenerate to watch that game, but what it speaks to is who would bet that game? That's a dumb bet. But we're picking games that are vital. Both the Panthers, Bucks, they have to be there. Patriots and the Dolphins. Vital games. Be smart about what you're picking. This is not one of those weeks where you throw money on every game. Pick games where you know both teams are going to show up, or you at least know your team is.
And if you don't know the teams, maybe you know the players. You can bet on the players. We've got some prop bets coming up. We're going to play Prop Lock or Drop It next on All Indiana Bets.
What a transition!
It's what we do.
Now this is high quality programming. Prop Lock or Drop It. Let's get right to it, Hammer.
All right.
First up, we are going to talk Buccaneers. Let's roll the screen here. Let's hear what we're going to see. Leonard Fournette, over under 42.5. What do you think, Hammer? Do you lock or do you drop?
I kind of teased this a little bit earlier. The Buccaneers play better football when they feed the big fella here. And finally, he has separated himself from the others that are getting a lot of carries in that Buccaneer backfield. Give the ball to the big fella. The Buccaneers roll when Leonard Fournette gets the ball. And look at his numbers the last 2 to 3 weeks. Not only is he getting more and more carries, he's getting more and more yards. So I love this one. We are going to lock this one in as an over. Leonard Fournette gets a lot of carries.
42.5, that's not a lot.
It's not. It's not. And again, he's kind of separated himself from that back by committee crap that they tried to run all through the season.
Next up, Panthers, Bucks.
Same game.
Same game. Carolina quarterback Sam Darnold. He's back.
He is.
Off the scrap heap, and he's over/under for passing TDs set at 0.5. That means half a touchdown. They are managing him nicely. They've been winning by managing Sam Darnold. What do you say, Hammer? Do you lock? Do you drop?
What's the number on how many ghosts he's going to see? Remember when Sam Darnold was with the Jets and he said, it was like I was seeing ghosts out there. That was the moment. That was the moment everybody knew this dude's a total zero. And while I may agree, 0.5, he just needs one touchdown. Begrudgingly, I'm going to lock this one in as an over. Look, I don't love this one, but do I think he's good for at least one? Yes, I think that's the number. If this were 1.5, I'd be dropping this down. But it's 0.5. Hold your nose and bet the over.
I think all Jet quarterbacks see ghosts. Don't you think? You know, the butt fumble, Sanchez, and I mean, let's be truthful right now. Zach Wilson.
No, the only good thing about Zach Wilson is his mom. That's the only good thing about Zach Wilson.
And his mom's girlfriends.
Zach would agree to that too.
Yes, but let me say, he is in the mystery wagon right now. He's seen lots of ghosts. Let's move on to a game. This is, quite frankly, might be the best game of the year. The Bengals, the Bills, Monday Night Football. How do you follow up the Final Four in college football? Well, the NFL said, we're going to bring two of maybe the 3 or 4 best teams in the NFL, put them together.
Monday Night Football owes us this game because we had Colts and Chargers last week. Now we get this. Thank you.
You know, Troy and Joe are like, wow, we get like a good game again. It's awesome with our $30 million. Okay, so Josh Allen to record over 242.5 passing yards against a very good Bengals defense. Do you lock? Do you drop?
I am going to lock this one in. I think both quarterbacks are going to air it out. I think you're going to see a show on Monday night. It's been a little while since Monday Night Football has been the premier game. When you and I were growing up, Scott, Monday Night Football was it. It was the best game of the schedule.
Yeah.
Now Sunday Night Football's kind of hijacked it, but not this week. I think both quarterbacks, when the lights are on, play their best. Joe Burrow's going to air it out, and I think Josh Allen's going to do it too. And this number, not that big. We're not asking him to get 315 or 320. We just need 242.5. I like this one. Lock it in as an over.
I am dropping that one.
You're going to
drop it? I'm going to go
it?
the other side on that one. I'm
Okay.
glad you brought it to my attention. I think Josh is going to have to run for his yards. Okay, last one. Green Bay hosting Minnesota. Another huge game. Green Bay, all of a sudden, is in the race.
They're in the mix.
They keep having teams fall off, and this is their perfect spot. Aaron Rodgers has seemingly revived himself. He's found receivers, young receivers. Watson, don't believe is playing this week, though, but passing yards is 236.5. That used to be automatic.
Right.
Almost a first half bet for Aaron Rodgers. This year, maybe. What do you say?
I get it. The Packer receivers stink. They're not very good. Has Aaron Rodgers missed a few throws? Absolutely. But this number is too low. If Green Bay is going to be in contention in this one, it's going to have to be Aaron Rodgers throwing the football. Now, the great thing about this total, being as low as it is, he can dink his dunk and get all of these short little screen passes out of his system, and it still adds up for you. By the time the fourth quarter rolls around, if this is a close game, like we think it's probably going to be, you're going to see him taking some shots down the field. Maybe you're somebody like Scott that feels like Minnesota could have the lead in this one. Guess what? He's playing from behind. He's throwing the football. All things that fall into the category of an over when you're looking at passing yards here. So I'm going to run the table with overs. Lock all these in as overs, and that is how we do prop, lock, or drop it.
I always felt when you bounced this off, I didn't love it. But you make me excited to watch these games. Some games I don't have bets. All of a sudden, I have bets with the prop.
You didn't love it because it was a segment about me. That's what it all comes down to, Scott. That's what it's about.
100% factual.
When we come back, he'll have his final play.
Yeah, I will.
I'll have my final play. Stick around. It's all Indiana Bets.
Presented for the people by Caesars Sportsbook. Your first bet is on Caesars. Bet up to $1,250. And if you don't win, you'll get it back as a free bet. Terms and conditions apply. Must be 21 and over.
Some of you may have popped champagne last night for New Year's Eve, but here's our plan. We're going to win so much money with these final picks. We're going to be drinking it every single day this year. We won't even call it champagne. We'll call it champagne because it's European and it sounds better. Scott, let's go.
We're looking at a game here where one team really needs to win and the other one doesn't. So you'd be like, well, take the Chargers. I watched the Chargers. I was on the wrong side, but that was only because of dead inside Nick Foles. Oh, my Lord. So now we take Staley, who didn't impress me at all with his coaching acumen ever, both years he's been. He has a great quarterback. The Rams looked like they were dead. They lost Donald. They lost their quarterback, Stafford, who's really not been healthy all year. And all of a sudden, they're playing good football with scrap heap Baker Mayfield. It's about McVay, plus 6.5. It's inside a place where one team, the Chargers, are a home team. They're not a home team. The Rams won the Super Bowl. That'll be 80% Rams fans. The Rams will be pumped up for this game. This is not a 6.5 spread. So what I would share with you right now is take the Rams. It's going to cover. I don't think they're going to maybe win the game outright, but they might. Wouldn't hurt to sprinkle a little bit because there is some magic dust on that money line right now.
So we've got champagne money on the line in the AFC South.
Right.
Now, hear me out. Before you roll your eyes, hear me out here. The Texans and the Jags. This game is kind of bizarre because it means absolutely nothing to the Jags. The Texans have more on the line here than the Jags do. The Texans are at least hoping they can lose and get better draft position, stay in that #1 spot. The Jags, it doesn't matter what happens in this game. The division comes down to next week. That's what's been kind of quirky about this week. The Titans rested players against the Cowboys. The Jags, they claim they're going to play their guys against the Texans, but how much? What happens here? This game is a nothing burger for the Jags. The Texans, on the other hand, they kind of own Jacksonville, and they've been playing pretty good football the last couple of weeks. Something about the AFC South and trends. For a long time, the Colts owned the Titans. For a long time, the Colts can't win in Jacksonville. And for what it's worth, the Texans play really well against the Jags. They're getting points here. The Texans players, they're not trying to tank. Their fans want them to, but the players aren't going to try to tank. Give me the points, sprinkle the money line here. Texans at home against the Jags. When we come back, we will recap all of our picks. Write them down, take a picture. I don't care what you do, but get all of our picks. That's coming up next, plus some teaser action for you. That's all Indiana Bets. That's how we get down. Take a big whiff. Is that the cabbage I smell that's stinking? Or is it this Colts game? I'm not sure which one it is. Scott, who do you got in this one?
Feels refreshing that we were the one show that was able to be honest. So honest, I touted the Iron Sheik of football in Indy, Carson Wentz. Let's do it right now. Colts plus 5.5. Don't put much on it. That would just be my lean. I am contractually obligated to pick a Colts game. Vikings plus 3.5. Now that's a different thing. Half a point hook in a division matchup.
Big difference between 3 and 3.5.
And let's talk weather this week. There isn't any. This is an amazing week. Think about last week. Determined so much. This week, it's not. It's nice out. Teams that are dome teams or warm weather teams, like the Dolphins, have a huge advantage. They usually do not. I like them against New England. The Commanders, Carson Wentz.
Oh, don't say that
back.
too loud. There's some folks on 56th Street that don't like to hear that name, Scott.
Look, I don't love Carson Wentz. Who does? His parents are like, okay. But he's not the demon that we thought he was. I saw the demon, and he's dead inside. He's the quarterback for the Colts now.
Pick Foles.
Rams plus 6.5. What am I going to say? Better coach, better setup, a home game for basically the Rams. Too many points. I like what I've seen from the Rams the last 3 weeks since Baker Mayfield came there. He got away from that stupid coach with the Browns, and all of a sudden, McVay, best coach in the NFL, top 3 at least, like them.
So remind me again, Scott, who's starting at quarterback for the Colts this week?
Nick dead inside. Foles. I want to be a third stringer.
For that reason, I like the G-men.
Yeah.
Give me the Giants, 5.5. Listen, I don't love the Giants, but this Colts team, if you say Nick Foles is dead inside, the whole team looks dead inside to me. This is my favorite game of the whole slate. Might be the best game of the year.
Yeah.
You got Burrow, you got Allen, Monday Night Football, Cincinnati. All they do is cover. I'll take the Bengals with 1, but again, live bet this one. You're going to get better odds if you wait for somebody to score, no matter which side you're on, and live bet this one. I'm going against Scott. I like the Patriots at home. It's a coaching mismatch, and Scott likes Teddy Bridgewater a little bit better than I do. I'm not in love with the Patriots, but it's less than a field goal. I'll take Belichick at home. We've got the Buccaneers. This is one of my favorite plays of the day today. Last week, Panthers looked amazing. This is a new week. A couple weeks ago, this line would have been 6, maybe 6.5. It's an overreaction on the point spread. Take the Bucs to cover. And the Texans, the Houston Texans, getting 4 points. Jacksonville, this game means nothing to them. The division comes down to next week. Win or lose, doesn't matter. They claim they're starting their guys and are going to play, but how seriously are they going to take it? The Texans, their players have been taking it seriously. The fans want them to lose, but the Texans keep screwing everything up by winning and playing good football. So those are our picks. And now let's go to our producer, Peter, who's got a teaser to kickstart the new year.
Hey, you think Nick Foles is dead inside? This is the face of a guy who's dead inside, because I'm betting on the Bears and the Texans this weekend in this teaser. The two worst teams, quite literally, in the NFL. We're going to take the Bears up to plus 13. I don't think the Lions have any business being a 6-point favorite against anybody. I know they're a great story. They've had a good season. I will gladly take the Bears in a divisional game up to 13 points. The Texans, for all the reasons Hammer mentioned earlier, what are we going to see from the Jags this week? And is Trevor Lawrence even going to play the whole game? And the Texans own them. We'll take them up to plus 11. And then I think the Bills make a statement on Monday night. This is a coin flip game. It could go either way. Even if they lose, I think it's going to be close. We'll take the Bills up to plus 6. But I think they're the better team. I think the Bengals are due for a loss. They've been lucky the last 2 weeks. So I wouldn't mind going against Hammer here and actually taking the Bills straight up or -1. What do you think, Hammer?
I like Cincinnati. Again, the last 23 games against the spread, Cincinnati is 20-3.
Yeah.
That's a trend, my friend, right there.
Hey, water finds its level. We'll see what happens.
All right, thank you, Peter. Happy New Year to you. And when we come back, Scott and I, we talked a little bit about this yesterday, but we needed more time.
Yes.
Some New Year's resolutions. If you're a resolution person, that's a sports fan, that's a borderline degenerate like we are.
You know we'll tell the truth.
We need your attention. That's coming up next on All Indiana Bets.
$2023. Does it feel right, Hammer?
It feels right. This is our year. Yeah. This is the year of the degenerate gambler, baby. This is my year.
It wasn't the end of 2022. Woo. You know what? It is time to get on a new streak. What is your resolution that you want to share as a gambler?
As a gambler, I promise, no matter what happens, I'm not going to get excited about a new Colts quarterback and thinking that it's an upgrade. Because I've seen that movie before and it doesn't end well. The last couple of years, oh, I think this is an upgrade. Well, this is an upgrade. No, it's not. So I'm going to wait and just be chill a little bit. I will not get too excited. I don't care if it's a washed up quarterback or a rookie. I'm not going to get excited about a new Colts quarterback.
I have this one every year. I will not bet on a regular season NBA game.
Really?
I am scared of those.
Wow.
No idea. You got to focus too closely. I want to talk to my children at least 2 or 3 hours a week.
I love betting on the NBA regular
Yes,
season.
maybe your children would like to talk to you, but you take them to the game like a good degenerate gambler.
Well, thank you. And thank you for watching us, making us part of your new year. We'll talk to you next week with a lot of serious NFL football ramifications right here on All Indiana Bets.
Can't wait.